Hello, guys. Good evening. Hello, guys. Good evening. Welcome to the Jupay Podcast Live XSpaces. Apologies for the technical hitches. But yeah, the Black Stars have just finished playing their second friendly in Europe. They lost to Austria 5-1, lost 2-1 to Germany this evening. 2 goals scored, 7 conceded. What did you make of the friendly? Well, I mean, what did you make of the Black Stars' performance in this particular one? Let me know. Did anything jump out at you? Were there any improvements from the loss to Austria the other day? Let me know. I see that so many requests have come in. The host has accepted a number of requests. So let me start off with Hans. Then we hear from Quincy Foley and then a few others. Hans, please go ahead.
Nathan, thank you very much. I mean, to your question, I think overall, results-wise, and then we had the Andre Ayew group in 2009 that won in Egypt. Some of them also making the jump into the Black Stars. Now, if you look at this team, what is the foundation of that team in terms of the youth setup and players that we brought through? You can't pinpoint 2 players in this team who play together at any youth level. There are about 3 of them who actually played for the under 17, under 20. I think Gideon Mensah, Fatal Isaaku, and one other player that I can't really remember. But apart from these 3 players, Kudus as well, most of these players didn't play for Ghana's youth setup. Most of them didn't even play together at any level for Ghana, the youth setup. When you build a team of strangers in that manner, and you put a coach who is out of his depth in the manner that we've seen Otuado, it's a recipe for disaster. So for me personally, what we've done after securing qualification to the World Cup, those 5 games is just a pointer to what we are going to be seeing at the World Cup. Yes, we might put up maybe a performance that may be satisfactory, but in terms of really getting results, that takes us to the next stage of the World Cup. I just don't see it happening. When the draw was made, in my mind, and I was probably mistaken. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, we'll probably secure the 3 points against Panama. But I've had to revise those notes after going back and looking at the way Panama plays. Breaking them down will be hell. And if you have a team that is as disjointed as we have this team, hey, look, it's so bad. It's not merely in the way the team defends. It's in the way they attack. And the funny thing is this. For me, and this is my personal opinion, in football, attacking is easy. There are several ways you can attack. But if you're not able to defend as a block, as a unit in the modern game, that is you done. And the sort of results we've had tells you that this is not much of a team. It's a collection of individuals, some of them with quality. There are quite a few there who are not even supposed to be in the team in the first place. I mean, if you consider the fact that we've moved from having Antoniana in Midfield to Kwesi Sibu, if you consider the fact that we've moved from maybe John Mensah to Jonas Ajete, the quality itself is suspect. And then you have the added challenge of not having a tactician who is able to mold the individuals into a functioning unit, into a competitive unit. So we've got real trouble on our hands. I think that the best we can hope for is that we are not going to be on the receiving end of hefty scorelines at the World Cup. I will really be surprised if we're able to make it out of the group with this team. I will. A team that is going to underachieve until the FA goes back to basics, builds a strong under 17, get them to transition to under 20, build on. That is where you need to be adding on from the under 17 to under 20. You add on quality under 20, try to get them to under 23, add on quality, and then when you're able to transition maybe 5 or 6 of those players into the Black Stars, then you are looking at building a competitive team. At the moment, yes, we have 1 or 2 quality individuals, but in terms of having a team, no, you change coach. We probably might end up with a coach who is better than Otuado. That coach is going to need time. Are we going to give that coach the time to be able to mold them into a unit? I don't think that is going to happen. After 2 years, whoever comes in to replace Otuado, if we are not still getting the results, we are going to fire that person. That is the trend we are going to be seeing with this team until it reaches the end of its cycle. I think the FA should be
Okay.
smart and start thinking about what the next Black Stars team is going to be. And that begins from building the youth setup and building a proper project in that regard.
All right, Hans. Thank you so much. Great points. Great points you've made. Let's see if the FA will listen to any wisdom at all. Let me bring in the others. Saidu, I'll get to you in a second. Let's just see if we can go through as many speakers as possible. Daddy LJ, let's hear from you. Then after you, Adam. So try and make your point, maybe 2 minutes, and then we can go through as many speakers as possible. Okay, so Daddy LJ, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Tan. So I think all we know of games that we had, for me, is I'm giving a rate. I'm going to give the team 4.10. Um, so I'm going to address it on the team basis before I go on to talk about individual performance. I was in a ultimate call up before the World Cup. You would like to make a call up where you ensure that every player gets minutes. You get test, especially for these or players who their first call ups the national. We have a call up. We had a player like that. J not get to the. He did not get seconds to give come up the man and today. Or I don't remember he came. Us. I don't also play that game to get 30 seconds in this game. Obviously, he didn't play for, so at least you, but still was a lot to tell about technical, technical and how they use it. Because I felt they needed to utilize this fully in this game win. That's why Fanan. I mean, I was trying a good game. You were going to Benjamin, but I mean, but third, so it's to have not fine. Understand, but it's not understand giving legitimate actually called for the work. Obviously, the need of him. You could have this class. There's no just for having done J in the World Cup. It's not just
Um, okay, LJ, can you
Okay, all right. Thank you, Nat. The other team. For me, I know there's been calls for Otuado to be fired and all that, but at this particular point in time, I don't know what much can be done in terms of. But let's continue on this trajectory of just studying the game one after the other, and then see the areas of improvement. I think there's one thing that is clear: the players were just playing as individuals, and you don't really see a lot of connection amongst the players. You don't see a really strong, compact team that plays as a team, but I see a lot of individualism. So the team would have to be, they have to come together and play as a unit. And then the attacking side too was very, very defective. So these are areas that we have to work on. We really have to work strong on our attacking capabilities and ensure that our people are very, very sharp on the attacking, so that at least the next few games we have ahead of us before the Mundial, we can see a much stronger team that makes every Ghanaian very convincing about our performance. But in terms of calling for Otuado to be fired, I don't know what much can be done about that, and whether any coach that will come in will have that magic wand to turn situation around. I think we should just make do of what we have, and just see our loose ends and our weaknesses, and just work on those loose ends ahead of the World Cup. So that's essentially what I'd like to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let me bring in Sedu Adamu. Okay, Sedu Adamu, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. 2 minutes, and then I bring in um Herbert, then I bring in Citizen and a couple of others, and then we'll move the conversation on. All right, Sedu. So let's hear from you. Please make your point in 2 minutes or less, and then we can move on. So Sedu, please, you have the floor. Oh, is Sedu on? I had him for a minute or two. Maybe he's reconnecting. Okay, let me bring in Citizen. Citizen, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. You have the floor. 2 minutes. Let's hear your thoughts on the Black Stars. Hello, Citizen, are you there? Okie dokie. We couldn't hear from Citizen. Who else? I see a few
Nathan, can
other
you hear me now?
speakers. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Is this
Um,
Citizen?
no, this is Daddy LJ.
Okay,
Highly
all right.
connected.
You are okay. Yes, no problem.
Yes.
Please make your point. Snap, snap,
Thank you,
and then we
Nathan.
can
Thank
move
you,
on.
Nathan. So I'm actually looking at it at the full friendly window that Ghana played, and I was saying that I have a little bit of issue with the squad management, especially the debutant call-ups. I mean, definitely, if you are calling debutants in the penultimate friendly window, you are giving them the opportunity to justify their inclusion in the team for the World Cup. We had the whole window, and there was one debutant that did not even get onto the pitch to even have 30 seconds. And that's Daniel Eje. And I know, coaching wise, sometimes you need a number of team members in camp to plan some training drills and all of that. But clearly, I don't understand why you would call a player at this time and not utilize him. But clearly, we know what is going to be then. He goeth nowhere in coaches in terms of going to the World Cup. But in terms of the whole team's output in today's Germany's game and the friendly window, I felt today there was a much braver fight from the players, right? You could see players willing to get into tackles, and I felt that was what we lacked in the Austrian game. It felt too pedestrian for me. Players were not bothered. They saw their opponents, whistling past them, and they'll just look at them, moving. But today we saw the players putting in tackles. We saw them going to the ground, and that was a bit of a fight from them. And I'm just devastated that Kujo Pepper seem to have picked up an injury. I'm just hoping that it's not a serious one because of all the centre backs, and I have actually been following or watching him even before he had his Ghana call up at OCG Nice. he's comfortable in a three-back system because that's what they play there, and he's comfortable playing in all those three positions in front of the goalkeeper, left centre back, the one right in front of the goalkeeper, and then the right centre back position. And I feel he's going to be the future of our defense, one of the kingpins in there, a young chap doing so well. Another issue I do have is the cohesion up front, and I feel maybe when we have some players back, especially Mohamed Kudus, we would see a different, Black Stars when it comes to that regard. Because today it felt like Antoine Semenyo was doing the job Kudus would have done on the pitch for us in terms of moving and progressing and being that dangerous on the counter attacks. And usually I would like to have him in the spot where he's actually meeting, the final balls in the box. But he fared well today, and I feel in his days as a Black Stars player and in all the games, today has been one of his good games for the Black Stars, and this has been something we've been calling for. When it comes to technical decisions and the coach, at this point in time, it feels like we are lost if we do sack Otto. That's the actual truth, because the next coach has no practically no window, just the window before. I mean, you are going to camp and you are playing friendlies, the Wolves game. You are literally going to camp then, and it would feel like a knee-jerk decision. But I mean, Otto has not fared well and made a good point for himself in terms of leading this team. So if that call comes in, but as a Ghanaian and knowing how Ghanaians we are, I highly doubt we'll get that call now. And I'm just hoping that he and the technical team, with this 18-man team, 5 more additions, are able to, put together a cohesive team in terms of what he wants to do, because it's still difficult to see the patterns in terms of how he wants to defend and how he wants to attack. I just hope that he's able to find players that can at least, play to the instructions and bring out their best, and not, heavily rely on tactical tweaks, because that clearly looks like we lack in that aspect from the bench. But if you ask me to rate this window, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't an impressive one, but just that in the last game, we saw a braver team on the pitch.
All right, thank you so much. Interesting points made. Sedo Adamu, let me bring you in. 2 minutes for you. Then we can take a few more speakers and call it an evening. All right, Sedo, please, let's hear from you.
Yes, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to talk. Look, I hear lots of people saying the performance in this game was much better than the previous game. Well, look, in terms of results, you would say so, because the Germans themselves uh, use this game as a dress rehearsal, as part of giving all of their players an opportunity to play. That's why they made about 9 changes or 9 substitution. But if you look at the numbers, and it's virtually the same. The performance of the team is virtually the same from what we did against Austria. And I'll give you a few numbers here. For instance, let's go to passes. If we take passes, for instance, our passes in the game against Austria was 82%. Our passes today was 80%. So it's virtually the same. If you look at say long passes, and that's what baffles me as to why our team is giving more long passes in their games than expected. And that leads me to say that, and in all my tweet, I've said the weakest link in our team is the midfield. And I don't know if Otuado is saying, because if your team is playing more long passes in a game and it's continuous, it means that the balls are moving from defense to attack, which means the midfield is completely disabled. The midfield is completely broken. And even if you look at the number of plays that the opponent has had in our attacking third, it also tells you again that our midfield is completely broken. And I don't know if the coach has seen that. I have tweeted that Ghana should prepare for the exit of Thomas Partey, and I've advised or suggested to Thomas Partey himself that after the World Cup, he must retire from the national team. If Thomas Partey is going to retire from the national team, question, has Ghana prepared enough to have his replacement? And that leads me to what Hans spoke in his comment. Look, if we had a national under 20 team that won the African Youth Championship or at the All Africa Games just 2 years ago, and Nathan, of all the 26 players that were called up for that competition, not a single one has been able to progress to the Black Stars today. that leads us to have lots of questions for our development program, for our national team coaches. What is the foresight in terms of bringing players to our junior national team? Because we know, and I've seen the progress that the junior national teams have made on the main national team, at least in the last 30 years. So if you have a junior national team that is claimed to have won an African under-20 championship, and not even a single player has developed enough to play your national team, even to merit a call-up at this level, that's a very big problem. Nathan, look at the long passes our team gave. Our team gave 48 long passes in the game against Austria. In today's game, our team gave 36 long passes. And the surprise is that in all of it, we were only successful in just 50%. Take that against our opponents, like the Germans, for instance, they gave just 27 long passes, and the Austrians gave just 22 long passes, which tells you that the average for a standard team in terms of long passes should be in the 20s and the 22s. If you are giving in excess of 50 long passes in a single game, it means that there's a problem with your team, and the team needs to be checked. So for me, I think that we have a very big work to do in terms of this team going into the World Cup. And I heard somebody say we don't have time to change. Look, when Abraham Gant took the Blasters in 2015, we had like just 3 weeks to go to the AFCON in 2015. And he was able to make some call-ups and look at the team. And Ghana reached the final of that competition. We have seen even teams make changes to their coaching setup in competition. And so the argument as to the timing is neither here nor there. Now, coaches across the world work with agencies, and those agencies monitor all teams across the globe, including national teams and club teams. And so they are able to give the numbers, they are able to give the data of every team going forward. So you don't need to have a coach and study your team for 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years to be able to take your team and work towards it. If you bring a coach who is so much competent today, they'll be able to work and get you the results. Take even the French and a women national team. Look at the time they employed Javi Renard going into the World Under-20 Championship. It was just like a month, and he was still able to deliver. So for me, timing is no problem. If we feel that Otuado is not good enough to handle the team going to the World Cup, we can make changes today, tomorrow, even the day before the World Cup starts. Thank you so much, Nathan.
All right, thank you so much, Sadie. Thank you as usual. Great points there. Let me bring in Adam, and then we'll hear from Herbert. Then there's Frida, JJ, and then we'll take a few more. Okay, Adam, let's hear from you after you, Herbert.
Thank you. I just want to lay a few details, information about what they give because what we were watching in the Ghana game was a bit, let's see, it was very chaotic when it comes to what our progression of the ball. Because as the previous speaker said, we were only playing long balls. What happened? You see, when you are playing system, you need a player that is able to what? Hold the ball and be able to what? Pass the ball very well. Look at Conte's team. They had Fabregas. Look at the Juve team. They had what? Jorginho. You could see what is happening in Ghana. It seems like we don't know what we are doing. So first, we have to blame first the coach. But today, I'll congratulate him because he played a better football than what he played against Austria. Today, our defense was a bit stable, but there were a few hitches here and there. You could see when the Germans were coming at us, we were kind of panicking. That will not happen against England because they have what? Very pacey wingers. And they have what? Players that are technically good. Look at Harry Kane. In this, our defense, you bully all. I don't know. And our midfield too is a problem. Someone that they're holding that will hold the ball and that will transition the ball to the strikers. And even our attackers are running helter-skelter. And Jordan too, I don't know. Jordan has been in the Ghana team for quite a long time. I don't know what he's looking for. Because look at that Semenyo ball. Should have we hold on to ball too many times. I don't know what is happening. But me, I'll give the blame to what? Otuado, because Otuado is not able to organize our team. Because you can't tell me that amount all the let's say Ghana is around, let's say 30 million. We can't see a proper midfielder to what? To be integrated in this team that will what? Bring out results. Because the game we played today, if we had played against Panama, I don't think we will win that much. If we had played this game against Croatia, we wouldn't have won. When we play this game against England, it will be hot chaos. Because going into the World Cup, I think we should what? Sack Otuado and replace him with a better manager that will what? Give us what? Understanding. Because you don't need so many days or years to build a team in the national. No, because the players have their own style. You just adjust 1, 2, or 3. Just what? Look at what happened in Italy. Italy saw that one. What was happening? They had more defenders than what? Midfielders and attackers. So what? They developed a 3-back system to accommodate what? They are better defenders. Ghana, we don't have even 2 better defenders. Look at this thing. Jiku shaking. Look at the tackle he made around the 18-yard ball. He could have possibly been a penalty again. And look at Jonas. Jonas is shaky, not because he's a bad player per se, but because he needs Jiku, who is a long-standing member in the team, to calm him down. Look at what Van Dijk is doing in Liverpool. He calms the defenders down. So that is the kind of players you bring into bay before you start a 3-back system. We don't have what? We don't have what? A defender that is stable, that can play on both feet well, that is able to take the ball and give out correct passes. So what is wrong? Is the coach. We need to go back to our 4-4-3 or 4-4-2. That is simple. Because if you want to play Edu, you play Edu and Jordan. Jordan can be at the 10, and Edu can do the round. Then we put Semenyo and Fatao at the wings. And the base, we have Partey and Sibu. Then we come Yerenchi. Then we get a proper number 2. Because today, Yerenchi played a little better than what he did against Austria. But that is not what we want in our. No, we want a very stable defense. Because when the foundation is strong, I think you cannot go. You cannot build a solid structure.
Okay. All right, so Adam, thank you. Let me bring others in. Adam, thank you. Thank you. Good points, though, about the base and all. The Black Stars all over the place. Herbert, let me bring you in. I'll give you 2 minutes. Then we can bring in Joseph, JJ, Frida, and then let me get the name right. To say Dehinde or Dehinde. I'm not sure. But I will bring him in a little later. Okay, let's hear from you, Herbert.
Ethan, good evening.
Hi, Herbert. How are you?
I'm okay. Last Friday we were on the space, and I told you I'll be expecting a reaction from the Black Stars to react to that 5-1 embarrassing defeat to Austria. I always say I'm not a coach, I'm a journalist, so I don't like to talk about systems and formations. But then I want to hold players accountable and also expect them to put in a fight. It's a game of football, anything can happen. So my takeaways that I did after this game is I was speaking to someone, I said, I'm looking at Asari being the best player for Ghana against Germany. Benjamin Asari, that's what I'm talking. Benjamin Asari is who I'm trying to talk about. And after the game, if you check Flash score, he had a rating of 7.4 after the game. And I was like, wow. Looking at me, I wish I had a chance to be at the stadium, because when you're at the stadium and you're watching the game, you get more insight. You get more understanding of what the players are trying to do. But even the glimpses of what we saw on TV, how he commands his confidence, put him in a big game of his life, like against Germany, a very high profile match, and for him to perform this way, for me, is thumbs up. Listen, the second thing is that we are stuck with Otuado. If anything will happen, it will happen after the World Cup. So let's change Otto. Let's change Otto. It's not going to happen. We know this Ghana FA. They are stubborn. That he is their man. That's why I want to talk about positives. The next thing that I'll jump to is Ojo Pepra, the defender. He had a solid game today. Very, very solid game. Sorry he had an injury. I'm hoping it's not something that will keep him out for a very long time. He's been very good this season for OG series. He plays with Salas, but he's always in the starting lineup. And today he played so well. And so far, I think Antoine Semenyo's best game in the Black Stars, in my opinion. The way he played today, I wish that Kudus could be around to help him with the link-up play because anytime he's on a run, anytime he takes the ball, the question is who is going to help him? And with our captain, yes, I'm reading on socials how people are saying that for him slowing down the game because we're under a lot of pressure and stuff like that. But the truth is, Jordan is losing his legs. If you are watching him at Leicester City this season, 60 minutes mark, 70 minutes, he's off. Sometimes he comes off as a substitute. What are we going to do
Herbert,
to get
in the last few months, Jordan has actually come off the bench a lot more times than he has started. So you are so right about Jordan losing his legs.
exactly? Because looking at the game, as I said, I'm not a coach, but you could understand that Otto has planned. I don't want to concede more. Let's sit on the back, and then we counter attack. So anytime we try to do that, that is what resulted into the goal. So when Fatah Ushaku came in, who is in form at Leicester City, who is playing this fast-paced game, so Semenyo gets this game, we know how City plays. Jeku is there, Semenyo is there, we know how they play. What can we do? For me, partnering Jordan and then Prince Edu, I think there's a problem. The guy is too raw. He needs experience. We can't put too much pressure on him. We have so many wingers who are playing so well. Christopher Babonsu, Akadesia in Saudi, he is playing. You have Kamaldeen Sulemana. You have Fatawi Shaku and the others. What can we do to get our attacking system running? Because we are going into the World Cup. We are going to play England. We are going to play Croatia. We are going to play Panama. If we are having a good defensive unit and we want to sit back and play on the counter attack, we have so many wingers. Can we not deploy a system where it would function so that we can score? Because if we want to go forward in the World Cup, we have to score. But from the two games, I have seen that the first time we tried with Derrick Cohn, it worked and we got a goal. So going forward, what can we do to improve that? But trying to still play around Jordan or Jordan being the focal point of our attack, it is really going to be a problem and it's going to slow us. Even though he's a captain, if we have to bench him, if we have to limit him, we have to do it. Because ahead of the
Okay.
World Cup, players that are active, players that are playing well, we have to rely on them. And then the next thing has to do with, I think Germany, the Germany that we used to know before is not the Germany today. I think they're also going through their transition. And that's why maybe the margin, that 2-1 margin, uh, the game ended 2-1 margin. But it is the takeaways that I take from this game is that it is an improvement, but the team has to win. And has to win so that it will both and it will boost our confidence heading into the World Cup. Thank you, Nathan, for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Herbert. We'll be wrapping it up in about 6-7 minutes. So let me take on a few speakers. Joseph, you've been on for a bit. Let me bring you in. So please, 2 minutes. Then after I bring on JJ,
Okay.
and then we'll take one or two others. All right, let's go, please.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So what I want to talk about is the fact that most people didn't realize that Otto was trying to play Germany like the way Ghana played against Nigeria in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. If you remember, you would see how he was using Afenya Jan, and the same way is how he's using Kwabena Edu. That's the same pattern that I saw. In this particular game, I think our formation was very well structured. When you look from a wide angle, a bird's eye view, you can see the 4 players in the midfield. Then you can see the 5 defenders back there. So I felt like our defense was structured, and that made it very difficult for the Germans to enter into our half although they tried several times, but we have more players behind. So I think Otto had a game plan and it worked for some time till we let our guards down and the Germans ended up scoring the winner. Now, I think that Otto also likes to hit on the counter, and that is one thing he has to work around. Like someone said, we have to use our wingers if he wants to play a counter football and pin opponents. Now, Asari may have flaws, but I think Asari has some charisma that comes with him, and that is one thing you can't take away from him. In this particular match, you would say, well, the Germans didn't try him much, but you can tell from afar that there is something around the guy that makes him a little bit different from others. It's not like he's really exceptional, but he's better than the ones we have. Now, Derek Cohn, before the goal came, I saw some comments on social media, people saying that he shouldn't come close to the Black Stars. But Derek Cohn is a player who likes to be more offensive than defensive. Players like that, their height is what doesn't give them the opportunity to play in front as wingers. So they take the opportunity to play as wing backs. So that is one thing I think Otto has to see about him and find a way to get him to move balls ahead and be able to switch with whoever he plays on the flanks with. So basically, I think we did very well, but I would have loved to see Ibrahim Sulemana start this particular game ahead of Kwesi Sibo. Kwesi Sibo in the first half tried so much. If not for him, we would have considered, I think, 2 goals because there was a time the ball was almost in the net and Kwesi Sibo came to our rescue again. Lucasen also did well. Opon, everybody can see how Opon did. I wanted to see more of Patrick Pfeiffer, but I don't know what's wrong with Coach Otuado and substitutes. From his first stint till now, he's not flexible with substitutes. And for Jordan and you, like we've all said, I think he should be starting from the bench. This is my 2 cents.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll wrap up in a bit. There are some comments. This space is also being broadcast on YouTube. So some comments are here. I'll just read a couple and then I'll take one final bit. Okay, I need to I'll announce something before we leave. This one says we played only one shot on target. What was the relevance of calling Marvin Senaya from Auxerre? If you knew he wasn't good enough, why did you call him? Opon Pepra is a solid center back. Another one says, how do you build a team when the local teams are gone? This one says the same old style or pattern without modification. Interesting. Safo, let me bring you in. Please wrap up your points maybe in a minute or two, and then we'll wrap it up. There's another engagement I need to handle. So let's try and wrap it up. Safo, you have 2 minutes, and then I make my announcement, and then we close out.
Nathan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so let me just make this snappy. Do you realize that the game we played, I feel like this is the template of the game we are going to play against England if Otuado remains at post. There's no difference from this game and the game we played against Portugal and the game we played against South Korea. We've been asking questions, what is Otuado's style of play? This is a style of play. He has no beautiful football for us. This one is called Eradicasa Tiki Taka. That is the only football he knows how to play. Suffer ball. You will just lie deep. And you see, the thing is, you don't even have the players for it. You don't have the players who have that compact discipline to not. This is not even a mid block. You don't have the players who have the ingredients for the kind of football you want to play. You would think that the likes of Suleimana will be tested. And one reason I know that Tuado is clueless is for the fact that Sibo has never been Otuado's first choice, or Sibo has never been any player Otuado has been looking at. It took the country pressuring him after Elijah Owusu before he brought in Sibo. And then afterwards, he's been playing Sibo ever since. This is not a coach who when he tries to give the sense that
You're talking about Sebor's entry. Well, it was because um, I think he was suspended. He was suspended. Yes. Yeah.
It was because Elijah picked up a yellow. That's why. Because he's never, and since he came, he's been playing. It means this guy. I don't think he's really cocksure or knows anything about anything he says. So when he tells you that Marvin Sanaya cannot play the right back, then why did he even get the guy into the team? And it's the same reason why I find it very suspicious that he's not playing Suleimana. Not because Suleimana is no good, it's because the guy just doesn't know what he's doing. And see, like I've said, this is the last thing I'll say. I have been someone who has been a critic of Keto Kuriku. But if he can do this for me, this one thing, if he can sack Otuado before the World Cup, I'll be forever indebted to the guy. But I know he's not going to do it. So in June, when we go to Toronto to go watch us against Panama, or we go to Boston or Philadelphia to watch Croatia in the England game, we know that we are going there to go suffer. We are going to play Eradicasa football. That's all we are going to do because they are not going to sack him. But if they're able to sack him, I think we can turn the ship. But we know they are not going to sack him. So, Nathan, I hope I can catch you on another space so that I can rant proper.
All right, we'll be on. But guys, thank you. We'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much. Apologies for the earlier technical hitches, but things smoothing out. Thank you once again. Space as is brought to you by Jupay. Jupay is the best money remittance service around. If you are in the US, Canada, and the UK, send your money to Ghana, Nigeria, and other countries using Jupay. You get 5% off your first transaction if you use. They have so many promo codes. You can use my name, Nathan, as a promo code, and then you get to enjoy 5% off. And then Jupay is, they're also giving out great prizes, right? They give us some match tickets. They are giving out some Amazon gift cards and all of that. So you need to be friends with Jupay, especially if you live outside the country. If you live in the UK, US, and Canada. Tomorrow we have something special. Tomorrow at 7, yeah, I think it's at 7 or 7:30. I'll confirm. Join us on the Jupay YouTube channel. We'll have a live there. I'll be there with Daniel Cranton and Coach Christopher Nimley to dissect the two friendlies. It will be fun. So join us on the live YouTube feed from the Jupay YouTube channel at Jupay. So just find us. I'll share share some content from the page. If you haven't seen the previous episodes of the Jupay Podcast Live, check out my Twitter. It's there. And then tomorrow, join us for the live discussion. We'll be on segments, questions. We'll kindly go through all of them, as we do the live. Guys, thank you so much. It's been fun having you. We'll gather again, but join us tomorrow on the live broadcast of the Jupay Podcast on YouTube. We'll catch you then. And the rest of your evening, yeah, upset, but yeah, just chill out. Anyway, thank you once again. This is brought to you by Jupay. Stay safe, and we'll catch you at another time. Ciao.
From you, media